Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Can I please bite a chunk out of that ass?
I need justice for my baby. That's all. She wouldn't. She her life was taken away from her. My grandbaby life was taken away.
This is Dontia Clark, a 20-year-old woman from Houston, Texas, who would be found shot to death in her own apartment just one day after discovering she was 8 weeks pregnant. The surveillance footage you just saw captured someone entering her home in the early morning hours of April 9th, 2022. That person stayed for less than 3 minutes. When they left, Dontia was lying in a pool of blood, dead in the most gruesome way possible.
I don't truly want to believe she's gone. I still call her phone to this day. I still text her praying she's going to pick up, but I know she's not. It's just, she should be here.
But before we get to the haunting footage that her family believes shows her killer, let me take you back to where this all began. Dontia Natasha Clark was born on November 15, 2001 in Saginaw, Michigan. She was bubbly, happy, and full of life.
She was the life of the party. My baby was real happy, energetic, like multi-talented. Like she do hair, she dance, she sings.
I keep telling your ass we ain't got collard greens on Wednesdays and Thursdays. What are they is?
Tuesday.
All right, let me just get a drink then.
What you want to drink?
Let me get a...
Wait, you taking too long. You can get a
Dontia had big dreams. She moved to Houston to pursue her education at Houston Community College while building her own business as a hair braider called the Houston Braider, which was gaining traction in the community. She was doing everything right, going to school, building a business, creating her future. She was also deeply religious, sharing her faith on social media platforms like TikTok.
Yeah, I don't mind my hair. We're going through it today. But I just got out of an Uber. I had to get an Uber to the store, right? Quick little drive to the store, but on the way there, he had said something about God. I just know he brought his name up. And like it kind of got my attention. I'm like, ooh, we have somebody who could teach me something here. And I always look for wisdom. I love hearing people's testimonies and stuff. So he was like, when he was dropping me off, that is so rude. But when he was dropping me off to my apartment, he had turned around and he started like preaching to me, like literally. He was just basically like, every sin starts off as a thought, and that's why you have to renew your mind. And I was like, because I'm thinking about it, I ain't gonna lie, I've been contemplating this sin for a couple days. I'm like, should I do it? Should I not? And then like the stuff that he was saying, it was kind of like, it was perfect timing. I was saying perfect timing. And he was basically like, you already got your blessings. Your blessings been lined up for you before you was even thought of. It's just your lifestyle. You gotta pick. Like, is it gonna be God or the world? You can't pick both.
That's where she met him, the man who would allegedly take everything from her. In early 2022, Dontia entered a new romantic relationship with a man named Caleb. They met online, like so many couples do these days. The relationship moved fast. They dated for about 2 to 3 months, which in the grand scheme of things is barely any time at all. But in that short window, something happened that would change both of their lives forever. Around early April 2022, Dontia discovered she was 8 weeks pregnant. She was still in her first trimester, processing what this meant for her life and future. Her sister Deja Clark recalled the conversation they had. Dontia was excited, scared, and hopeful. She wanted a baby girl. When Dontia shared the news with Caleb, his reaction was not what she hoped for. He did not react positively to learning he was going to be a father. Here's a young woman trying to navigate this life-changing news, and instead of support, she got negativity and rejection. But Dontia tried to stay positive. Her sister Deja remembered reassuring her during one of their last conversations. She told Dontia what any good sister would say.
She was excited, but she was also scared. I even told my sister it's okay to be scared. It's your first child. It's okay. That's the last conversation I had with my sister.
Tragically, that conversation would be one of the last times Deja would speak to her sister alive. Because within days of discovering her pregnancy, within days of sharing that news with Caleb, Dontia was found dead in her apartment at 8808 Gustine Lane in southwest Houston. The timeline here is critical. She discovered she was pregnant around April 7th through 9th. Her body was discovered on April 10th, a Sunday morning. That means in the span of just 1 to 3 days after learning about this pregnancy and telling Caleb about it, Dauntia Clark was murdered. The details of how her family found her are absolutely heartbreaking. Dauntia's family grew concerned when they couldn't reach her by phone. She wasn't answering calls or responding to texts. This wasn't like her. Dauntia was the kind of person who stayed connected with her family, checked in, and kept in touch.
I don't truly want to believe she's gone. I still call her phone to this day. I still text her praying she's going to pick up, but I know she's not. It's just, she should be here.
When the silence stretched on too long, alarm bells started ringing. Her family sent her brother to check on her at the apartment. When he arrived and entered, the nightmare became real. He found his sister deceased, lying in blood. The Houston Police Department responded and pronounced her dead. She had been shot multiple times, including to her head. And here's what makes investigators believe this wasn't random. There were no signs of forced entry at Dauntia's apartment. No broken windows, kicked-in doors, or struggle to get inside. This tells us that Dauntia opened the door for her killer. She let them in willingly and trusted them. Investigators believe the perpetrator was someone Dauntia knew, narrowing their focus to her inner circle. The most obvious person with an apparent motive was Caleb, the father of her unborn child, who had reacted negatively to the pregnancy news just days earlier. What happened next is where this case becomes even more chilling. Dauntia's family didn't just sit back and wait. They took action, gathered evidence, and became investigators in their own right. And what they found was captured on camera. The family obtained surveillance footage from the apartment complex, and what that footage shows is absolutely damning. Let me walk you through what you're about to see. The surveillance footage shows a man dressed in black entering the building. According to Dauntia's mother, Tasha, this person entered her apartment between 1:24 a.m. and 1:36 a.m. 12 minutes for someone to enter, shoot her multiple times, and flee.
It was actually 124 to 136.
Okay.
You know, from the time he ran in and ran out.
Clark.
The person doesn't just walk in and walk out. They run back and forth from the unit. They stop momentarily, return briefly, then leave again. This is the behavior of someone panicked, someone trying to make sure they haven't left evidence behind.
The family believes this individual is Caleb and handed the video to the police. But here's where this takes a frustrating turn. Despite having surveillance footage, a clear suspect with an obvious motive, and a timeline placing this person at the scene during the murder window, the Houston Police Department has not made any arrests. Not one. Not even as of late 2025.
I really need y'all help. Somebody help my little cousin, and the media and the police, Houston police at that, not doing. And we need help, bro. Like, we just want justice type shit. Feel me? So, look, I'm a add the damn.
More than 3 years after Dauntia's death, the Houston Police Department's Homicide Division continues to list the case as an active investigation, urging anyone with information to call their Homicide Division. But for Dauntia's family, these appeals for tips feel hollow when they've already provided what they believe is the most important evidence in the case. Family members have expressed deep frustration with the lack of updates and what they perceive as minimal communication from the police. They want to know what's happening with the investigation and why the footage they provided hasn't led to an arrest. Her aunt, Kika Clark, captured this frustration perfectly when she asked, "That's the part that's really frustrating. When is she going to matter?" That question cuts right to the heart of what this family is experiencing.
That's the part that's really frustrating. It's like, when is she gonna matter? You know, when is she gonna matter?
Family members believe Caleb did not want the child and chose violence over ending the relationship peacefully. They emphasize that Dauntia wasn't involved in any criminal activities. She was an entrepreneur, focused on her hair braiding business, college, and preparing for motherhood. Research shows homicide is a leading cause of death for pregnant women in the United States, often by intimate partners. The CDC notes factors like control, jealousy, and economic stress as common triggers. Pregnancy announcements can escalate tensions, particularly in relationships without established commitment. In the days following Dantia's murder, her family held a candlelight vigil on April 15th or 16th. Family and friends gathered outside the apartment where she died to honor her memory and demand justice. They released balloons into the Houston sky and shared stories of Dantia's spirit, her talent for hair braiding, her love of singing and dancing.
This evening, family members gathered outside the very apartment where Dantia was killed to hold a vigil. They tell us she was just a few weeks pregnant and looked forward to being a mother.
Her mother, Tasha Clark, spoke at the vigil about the depth of her grief, about the impossibility of truly comprehending that her daughter is gone forever.
It's hard for me to go to sleep. It's hard for me to wake up. Those are my hardest times. You know, my baby just steady going through my mind.
Tanisha also said something that captures the double tragedy of this case. You just didn't take my baby, you took my grandbaby. The ripple effects of this murder extend far beyond just Dantia. Her family lost 2 generations in one horrific moment.
Clark asking anyone with information in her daughter's death or on the person seen in the video to come forward.
I need justice for my baby, that's all.
Her sister Deja continued calling and texting Dantia's phone after her death, hoping somehow for a response that would never come.
I don't truly want to believe she's gone. I still call her phone to this day. I still text her praying she's going to pick up, but I know she's not. It's just, she should be here.
It's a heartbreaking detail that shows how impossible it is to accept that someone you love is truly gone. Online discussions on platforms like TikTok and various forums have kept Dantia's story alive, with true crime communities calling for increased awareness and demanding justice. Social media has become a tool for families like Dantia's to keep cases in the public eye when official channels seem to stall.
They say when a black woman gets killed and everything, nobody cares, but hey, this is my little cousin, bro, so I care, we care, my family care, bro. We just want justice, I swear to God, that's it. Like, so, what I'm saying is, bro, somebody in Houston, he know who he is, shot and killed my little cousin in her apartment. That shit fucked up, bro, to even think about it, bro, like.
People across the country who never knew Dantia personally have been moved by her story and have joined in calling for answers. A memorial on the National Gun Violence Memorial site notes 72 candles lit in Dantia's honor, underscoring the broader impact of gun violence and how individual tragedies become part of a larger national crisis. Every candle represents someone who believed Dantia deserved justice, someone who wanted her name to be remembered, someone who recognized that her life had value. Her case has been referenced in discussions about abortion rights and gun violence, showing how individual tragedies intersect with larger issues. When we talk about protecting women and reproductive rights, we're talking about cases like Dantia's. These aren't abstract debates, these are real lives cut short. Research has documented that pregnancy can increase the risk of intimate partner violence, particularly homicide. The reasons often come down to control, unwanted responsibility, financial concerns, and fear of how a child will change the relationship. Some men see pregnancy as a trap that will limit their freedom. Rather than honest conversations, they resort to violence.
Well, just about a week has passed since that pregnant victim was found dead in her apartment. She was identified, as you mentioned, as Dantia Clark. Her family members right now don't have much in the form of answers as to who is responsible. They do, however, have surveillance video that shows a person entering her apartment and leaving the very night family members say she was killed. They want that person identified. They're hopeful they may have some answers. This was taken early Saturday morning. Cameras capturing someone dressed in black approaching Dantia Clark's apartment. A few moments later, the same person can be seen running back and forth from the unit before disappearing out of frame.
It was actually 124 to 136.
Okay.
You know, from the time he ran in and ran out.
Clark's mother, Tasha, says a day later, on Sunday, April 8th, a family member found her pregnant daughter's body. Clark, just 20 years old, was shot multiple times.
It's hard for me to go to sleep. It's hard for me to wake up. Those are my hardest times. You know, my baby just steady going through my mind.
This evening, family members gathered outside the very apartment where Dantia was killed to hold a vigil. They tell us she was just a few weeks pregnant and looked forward to being a mother.
She was the life of the party. My baby was real happy, energetic, like multi-talented. Like she do hair, she dance, she sings.
Clark asking anyone with information in her daughter's death or on the person seen in the video to come forward.
I need justice for my baby. That's all. She wouldn't have. Her life was taken away from her. My baby, my grandbaby life was taken away.
And Dauntia's case is far from unique. To understand just how rampant this problem is, look at what happened to Brittany Eldridge in Knoxville, Tennessee. The parallels are chilling. Brittany Eldridge was 25 years old and 8.5 months pregnant when she was murdered in her apartment on December 13, 2011.
Here in East Tennessee, you may recognize that face. That is Norman Clark. He's been accused of killing his pregnant ex-girlfriend, Brittany Eldridge. Tried for that crime twice. Just 4 months ago, Knox County prosecutors chose to drop their case against him. Now he's opening up about the circumstances that led to the affair. NBC's Andrea Canning shares this sneak peek.
Unlike Dauntia, who was weeks into her pregnancy, Brittany was about to give birth to her son Ezekiel. She was preparing for motherhood, so close to meeting her child. Brittany's mother found her deceased in her bedroom. She had been attacked from behind, choked, suffocated, and stabbed twice in the neck with scissors. Her unborn son, Ezekiel, died from oxygen deprivation. 2 lives were stolen in one brutal attack, just like Dauntia and her baby. The scene was staged to look like a burglary. Purse contents scattered, televisions moved, drawers rifled, but nothing was actually stolen. It was a theater, an attempt to create reasonable doubt. The suspect was Norman Eugene Clark, Brittany's boyfriend. His motive? He was juggling multiple relationships.
How many women were you seeing at the time?
Maybe 15 to 20.
Norman, that's a lot of women.
I was single, and I'm a very friendly person. They knew that I was not looking for a relationship. So friends with benefits.
Once Ezekiel was born, child support would expose everything. The baby represented consequences Norman apparently wasn't willing to face. Prosecutors had evidence. Norman turned off his phone at 9:06 p.m., right around the murder time. Text messages were sent from Brittany's phone after she was dead, as if someone was creating an alibi. Norman claimed he was at another woman's home by 10:40 p.m. The case went to trial twice. Both trials, in 2015 and 2017, ended in mistrials. The first had 11 jurors favoring acquittal. The second deadlocked 10-2 for conviction. The problem? No DNA evidence linking Norman to the scene. Everything was circumstantial. Norman never testified. In 2018, prosecutors decided not to pursue a third trial. Norman Eugene Clark walked free and remains free today, maintaining his innocence. Brittany Eldridge's murder, like Dauntia's, remains officially unsolved. Look at what these cases tell us. Dauntia in Houston, 8 weeks pregnant, was shot multiple times. Her family provided surveillance footage. No arrests. Brittany in Knoxville, 8.5 months pregnant, strangled and stabbed. Her case went to trial twice, still no conviction. Both women were pregnant, allegedly killed by their boyfriends, and died in their apartments without forced entry, and both cases remain unsolved. The similarities are striking. In both cases, the suspected motive revolves around unwanted pregnancy. Caleb allegedly didn't want to be a father after just months of dating. Norman allegedly feared child support and exposure. Both men faced the reality that a baby would change their lives. Rather than walking away or having honest conversations, violence became the solution. In both cases, there was no forced entry. These women felt safe with their killers. Dauntia opened her door because she recognized who was knocking. Brittany was attacked by someone with access to her home. These weren't stranger attacks. These were intimate betrayals. Both families grieved double losses. Dauntia's mother said, "You didn't just take my baby, you took my grandbaby." Brittany's mother found her daughter and had to face losing both Brittany and Ezekiel. These families mourn daughters they raised and grandchildren they'll never meet. And both families fought desperately for justice in systems ill-equipped to deliver it. Dauntia's family held vigils, spoke to the media, provided evidence, and continues pushing for answers 3 years later. Brittany's family endured 2 trials that failed to convict. Both know who likely killed their loved ones, but can't see them held accountable. Dauntia told Caleb about her pregnancy around April 7th through 9th. She was dead by April 10th. Brittany was weeks from giving birth. Neither woman did anything wrong. They simply got pregnant, and that pregnancy allegedly became a death sentence. What can we learn from Dantia's story? Caleb's negative reaction to the pregnancy was a red flag. It showed he wasn't ready and wasn't supportive during a vulnerable time. That kind of reaction should trigger serious conversations about the relationship's future. What do you think about this case? Let me know in the comments section. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.